Have you ever wondered how a regular day can suddenly turn into a worldwide tragedy? Picture this. It's July 17th, 2014. A day like any other in the world of aviation, bustling with activity. One of the planes in the sky is Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, a Boeing 777-200, a renowned workhorse of the industry. The aircraft is on its usual route, carrying 298 souls, each with their own stories, dreams, and destinations. Among them are 15 crew members, their primary task to ensure a safe and comfortable journey for everyone on board. As the flight progresses, the plane is humming with the comforting rhythm of travel, the passengers settling into the familiar routine of an international flight. But then, something happens. Suddenly, and without warning, Flight 17 disappears from the radar. The routine day turns into a nightmare. Confusion and concern ripple across control rooms. The flight that was once represented by a blip on a screen is now nowhere to be found. Soon enough, the terrible truth emerges. The remains of the aircraft are discovered in eastern Ukraine. The plane didn't just disappear, it crashed, and with it, all 298 people on board lost their lives. The crash site, scattered with the wreckage and personal belongings of the passengers, tells a grim tale. This wasn't just an unfortunate accident, it was a catastrophe that shook the world. The shock rapidly gives way to a need for answers. What happened to Flight 17? How did a routine flight end in such a horrific tragedy? As investigators start piecing together the puzzle, what they uncover leads not only to a heartbreaking revelation, but also to an incident that would soon become an international controversy. The crash site told a grim tale of an incident that would soon become an international controversy. When disaster strikes, the quest for truth follows. And so, in the wake of the tragic downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, the wheels of investigation were set in motion. The world watched with bated breath as the Dutch-led joint investigation team took on the monumental task of piecing together the scattered fragments of the catastrophe. In the early stages of the investigation, the team had to grapple with a complex geopolitical landscape. The crash site, located in eastern Ukraine, was a volatile region of conflict between Russian-backed separatists and Ukrainian forces. This made the search for truth not only a technical challenge but also a diplomatic tightrope walk. The findings of the Dutch-led team were both shocking and conclusive. They determined that the aircraft had been shot down by a Russian-made surface-to-air missile. This conclusion, grounded in painstaking research and analysis, pointed an accusing finger at a global superpower. But how did they arrive at this conclusion? The answer lies in the meticulous process of investigation. They examined the wreckage, collected and analyzed data, and used computer simulations to recreate the final moments of Flight 17. The team also reviewed intelligence information and interviewed witnesses. Every piece of evidence, every shred of information was scrutinized, leading them to the sobering truth about the flight's fateful end. Yet, as the team delved deeper, they found themselves entangled in a web of international politics and power play. The crash occurred in a region fraught with tension, where Russian-backed separatists were engaged in a bitter conflict with Ukrainian forces. This added another layer of complexity to the investigation, raising questions about motive, responsibility, and accountability. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together, but the bigger picture was far from complete. As the investigators continued their relentless pursuit of truth, they were about to stumble upon even more startling revelations. The story of Flight 17 was just beginning to unfold. In the pursuit of justice, accusations fly and denials follow. As the ashes from the tragic crash of Flight MH17 began to settle, the fingers of blame started to point. The Dutch-led investigation was unyielding, concluding that the fatal shot was fired by a Russian-made surface-to-air missile. The crash site, located in a region of conflict between Russian-backed separatists and Ukrainian forces, seemed to indicate a clear line of responsibility. In fact, it was in 2019 that Dutch prosecutors made their move, charging 4 men with the downing of the flight. This group included 3 Russians and a Ukrainian, all allegedly connected to the incident. But accusations are one thing, and proof is another. The Russian government was swift to deny any involvement in the tragedy, dismissing the charges as baseless and the investigation as biased. The denials were firm and categorical, leaving no room for doubt in their stance. Russia's response was not surprising given the severe implications of the charges. But the international community was not swayed, and the pursuit of justice pressed on. The situation was further complicated by the geopolitical tensions between Russia and the West. The incident brought these tensions to the forefront, transforming an aviation disaster into a matter of international diplomacy. The back-and-forth accusations and denials highlighted the complexity of the situation, where truth was tangled with political interests and national pride. Yet, the pursuit of justice could not be deterred. The world watched, waited, and demanded accountability. The victims of flight MH17 deserved nothing less. Their families, their friends, and the international community sought answers, sought justice, and sought closure. The pursuit of justice was becoming a high-stakes game of international diplomacy. The stage was set for a legal battle that would span years, and the world was watching. The lives lost in the tragedy of flight MH17 were not forgotten, and the pursuit of justice was far from over. Justice may be delayed, but it is never denied. This age-old saying resonated in 2022, when the Dutch court finally handed down convictions in the case of the downed Malaysia Airlines Flight 17. Igor Girkin, a former Russian intelligence officer along with two others, were found guilty of murder. The court stated unequivocally that the missile launcher came from Russia and was fired by Russian-led troops in Russian-controlled territory. This verdict was a significant step in the pursuit of justice for the 298 innocent lives lost in the tragic crash. Yet, despite this victory, the road to holding Russia fully accountable for its actions was, and still is, a long and winding one. In the face of this daunting task, the international community has not wavered in its dedication to seeking justice. Legal avenues, such as the European Court of Human Rights and the UN's International Court of Justice, serve as the battlegrounds in this ongoing fight against impunity. The aim is not just to hold Russia responsible for this specific incident, but also to set a precedent that such acts of aggression will not be tolerated in the future. The pursuit of justice transcends borders and political affiliations. It's a testament to the global community's commitment to upholding the rule of law and human rights. It's about ensuring that those who have been wronged are acknowledged, that their suffering is recognized, and that those responsible are held accountable. So while the convictions of Girkin and his associates marked a significant milestone in this pursuit, they represent just the beginning of the journey. The quest for justice continues, fueled by the memory of those lost and the relentless determination of those left behind to ensure their loved ones did not die in vain. The fight for justice, it seemed, was far from over. In the face of tragedy, we learn, we remember, and we strive to do better. The aftermath of the downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 was a time of profound reflection. The loss of 298 lives sent shockwaves across the globe, prompting an international call to action. The incident not only spotlighted the conflicts in eastern Ukraine, but also highlighted the vulnerabilities in our global aviation security. The international community was quick to respond. The incident became a catalyst for significant reforms in aviation security. The realization that commercial aircraft could be targeted in conflict zones led to substantial changes in flight routing and risk assessment protocols. Airlines and aviation authorities worldwide became more vigilant, introducing stricter measures to ensure that such a tragedy would never happen again. Simultaneously, the downing of Flight 17 had significant implications for international relations. The incident added fuel to the fire of existing tensions between Russia and the West. It underscored the need for greater transparency and accountability, especially in conflict zones. The accusations and subsequent investigations put a spotlight on Russia's role in the Ukraine conflict, leading to increased scrutiny and pressure from the international community. But perhaps the most enduring impact of this tragic incident is the relentless pursuit of justice. Despite the obstacles and denials, the quest for truth and accountability for the victims of Flight 17 has never waned. Legal avenues like the European Court of Human Rights and the UN's International Court of Justice have been pursued to hold those responsible accountable. The convictions of the perpetrators in absentia were significant victories, but the pursuit of justice continues. It is a testament to the indomitable human spirit, a testament to our shared commitment to truth and justice. And so, as we reflect on this tragic incident, we are reminded of the lessons it taught us. We are reminded of the importance of vigilance, transparency, and accountability. We are reminded of the power of the international community when we stand together in the face of adversity. The downing of MH17 remains a somber reminder of the cost of conflict and the relentless pursuit of truth and justice.